There is a single number that predicts how long you will live more powerfully than your blood pressure, your cholesterol, even your smoking history. Most people have never measured it, and many have never even heard of it. It is called your VO2 max, and think of it as the size of your engine, the maximum amount of oxygen your body can take in and actually use when you push it hard. In one of the largest studies of its kind, the least fit people were not 10 or 20% more likely to die over the following years. They were several times more likely. Quick note before we start. This is general education, not medical advice, and before any all-out exercise test or new intense training, check with your doctor. Hold on to this one idea for the whole video. Your VO2 max is not a number for athletes. It is the single best snapshot of how well your whole body works. And unlike a lot of your health, it is a number you can genuinely rebuild. So why does the size of your engine predict the length of your life? And how do you make yours bigger? Stay with me, because once you understand this number, you will never think about cardio the same way. In a landmark study of over 120,000 adults, the least fit had roughly 5 times the risk of dying compared with the fittest. Across this video, we will cover what the number is, the landmark proof, why it predicts so much, and exactly how to raise yours. Some of what you believe about cardio and longevity is true, some is myth, and the difference really matters. By the end, you will know what a good number looks like, how to measure yours, and how to push it higher. Why your VO2 max predicts how long you will live. Before we get to why it is so powerful, let us be clear about what this number really measures, because it is more than just being good at cardio. It is a window into your entire physiology. VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can consume per minute when you are working as hard as you possibly can. To deliver that oxygen, your lungs, your heart, your blood, your vessels, and your muscles all have to work together at full tilt. It is usually written in milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute, so it scales to your size. A trained endurance athlete can have an engine 2 or 3 times larger than a sedentary adult of the same age. It is not the same as strength. You can be muscular and still have a small aerobic engine. They are different systems. So the number is, in effect, the size and efficiency of your whole aerobic engine, captured in a single measurement. Now to the research that turned this from an athlete's metric into a serious survival signal, because the scale of it is genuinely hard to ignore. A finding that survives a sample this size is one worth taking seriously. A pattern that clean and that strong is exactly what makes scientists sit up. A result this large and this clean is genuinely hard to wave away. In 2018, researchers tracked over 122,000 adults who took a treadmill fitness test, following them for years afterward. Higher fitness meant lower death rates, and crucially, there was no upper limit. Fitter was always better, all the way to elite. This was not a small trial. It covered more than 1 million person-years of follow-up, making the pattern hard to dismiss. Importantly, this held even after accounting for age, sex, and existing illness. Fitness mattered on its own. The pattern was so consistent that being unfit looked like a disease state of its own. The cleanest version of the result, every step up the fitness ladder brought a measurable drop in death rate. The spread was stark. Death rates ran from nearly 24% in the least, fit down to under 3% in the elite. Here is the comparison that should stop you in your tracks, the one that reframes how seriously we should all take this. Being unfit is not a minor risk factor. This is one risk factor you cannot simply quit your way out of. In that study, low fitness carried a risk of dying comparable to, or even greater than, smoking, diabetes, and high blood pressure. Let that land. The risk of being out of shape rivaled some of the most feared risk factors in all of medicine. Unlike a single bad cholesterol reading, low fitness reflects a deep, body-wide deficit that is hard to hide. And unlike smoking, which you can quit, low fitness has to be actively built back. It will not fix itself. It also tends to flag trouble early. Fitness often falls before a diagnosis ever arrives. That is why, back in 2016, heart specialists argued fitness should be treated as a vital sign, checked like blood pressure. So why would one fitness number carry this much information about your future? The answer is what makes VO2 max so uniquely powerful as a health signal. That is why it is so hard to fake. Your number reflects what your body can truly do. That is the core reason one number can say so much about your whole future. To move oxygen at a high rate, every step of a long chain has to work. Your lungs pulling in air, your heart pumping hard, your blood carrying oxygen. Then your vessels have to deliver it, and deep in your muscles, tiny power plants called mitochondria have to burn it for energy. It even reflects things like how many capillaries feed your muscles and how efficiently your cells make energy. That is also why it cannot be faked with a good night's sleep or a single healthy meal. It reflects months of how you live. In that sense, VO2 max is one of the most honest report cards your body can give you. Because it depends on the heart most of all, a rising VO2 max usually means a stronger, healthier heart. A weak link anywhere in that chain drags the whole number down, which is why VO2 max reflects the health of so many systems at once. One of the most striking things about this number is how cleanly it tracks with survival. It is not all or nothing. Every step up the fitness ladder seems to buy you something real. The lesson is consistency. Your engine is built by what you do most weeks, not your best week. Large analyses suggest each 1 MET rise in fitness, a single notch of capacity, is tied to roughly a 10 to 15% lower risk of death. And remember, there was no ceiling. Going from high fitness to elite still lowered the risk further. That clean dose response is part of why researchers trust it. More fitness almost always means more years. It is one of the few health metrics where the advice is simply, more is better, with almost no downside. This is why even modest, consistent activity beats occasional heroic workouts for long-term survival. One long study even estimated that each extra unit of VO2 max was worth around 45 additional days of life. Now for the part that matters to every single one of us, because this is not static. Your engine does shrink over time, and if you do nothing, that decline has a predictable and serious trajectory. So this is not an abstract statistic. It is about how your later life will actually feel. So the real question is not whether it falls, but how steeply you let it. VO2 max tends to peak in your 20s, then fall by around 10% per decade in people who stay inactive. And it does not fall evenly. After about 70, the rate of loss can accelerate to more than 20% per decade. By later life, a low VO2 max can leave simple tasks, stairs, groceries, feeling genuinely exhausting. Roughly speaking, an inactive person can lose a third or more of their peak engine by their 70s. The decline is normal, but a steep, early drop is a signal that your habits may need to change. This is part of how people quietly drift toward frailty. The engine simply gets too small to power an independent life. But here is the empowering flip side of that decline, and it is one of the most important ideas in this whole video. Where you start and how you train changes everything about that trajectory. That reserve is, in many ways, what healthy aging actually looks like. If you build a high VO2 max now, you start your decline from a much higher point, giving you years of extra margin. Think of it as a fitness reserve. The bigger your engine today, the longer it takes to fall below the level where daily life gets hard. It is the difference between coasting comfortably through your later decades and constantly running on empty. There is even a level below which independent living becomes difficult, and a fitness reserve keeps you safely above it. Picture two people at 70, same age, but one has decades of reserve and the other has almost none. Staying active can roughly halve the rate of that age-related decline, literally bending your curve in your favor. Here is a finding that genuinely surprises people, and it deserves to be said plainly, because it cuts against years of messaging about health. When it comes to how long you live, fitness beats thinness. For a lot of people, that single reframe changes how they think about health entirely. That shift, from shrinking yourself to strengthening yourself, is genuinely liberating. For many people, that is the most freeing idea in this entire video. Cardiorespiratory fitness predicts survival better than body weight or body mass index. The scale tells a smaller part of the story. A fit person at a higher weight often outlives an unfit person at a lower weight, because the engine matters more than the number on the scale. This does not mean weight is irrelevant, but it does mean fitness deserves at least as much of your attention. So if your scale has not budged, but your fitness has improved, you have still made a powerful health gain. It reframes the whole goal. You are not chasing a smaller body, you are building a more capable one. It is a freeing message. You do not have to chase a perfect weight to add years, you have to build your engine. Now, let me be straight with you, because I do not want to oversell this. VO2 max is powerful, but it is a marker, and it is partly out of your hands. Here is the honest, precise version. Part of your VO2 max is genetic. Some people are simply built with bigger engines, and trainability varies from person to person. But here is the empowering part. Almost everyone can improve substantially from wherever they begin, often by 15 to 20% or more. The takeaway is not to despair over your genes. It is to maximize the large share that you do control. Even people who respond less to training still gain real health benefits. The effort is never wasted. So genetics sets the stage, but your training writes most of the script. That is where your power lies. So you may not control your ceiling, but you almost certainly control where you sit beneath it, and that is what moves the odds. And if you take only one practical idea from this entire video, make it this one, because it is where the math is most generous. The single biggest payoff is not at the top, it is at the bottom. That is genuinely encouraging. The biggest rewards go to those just getting started. So the hardest part is honestly just beginning, and that part is free. Look again at those death rate numbers. The largest single drop in risk happens when you move out of the least fit group. In plain terms, going from sedentary to even modestly active buys you more than going from very fit to elite. It means the couch to active step is the most valuable move in fitness, and one of the easiest to start. If you are starting from zero, that is not bad news. It means you are sitting on the largest possible gain. The hardest and most valuable workout is often simply the first one. After that, momentum builds. So the person with the most to gain from this video is the one who feels the least fit. That is the best news here. So how do you build a bigger engine? The good news is that the recipe is well understood and it does not require becoming an athlete. It comes down to two complementary ingredients. It really is that simple. An easy base with a sprinkle of hard. If you take one action from today, let it be adding a little hard effort. The base is easy, conversational aerobic work, often called Zone 2, brisk walking, easy cycling, light jogging, done regularly. On top of that, add short bouts of harder effort, intervals where you push close to your limit, then recover, then repeat. You do not need a gym. Brisk walking up hills and a few harder pushes a week can move the number. A simple template is several easy sessions a week, plus 1 or 2 short, harder interval sessions. Intervals can be as simple as walking fast or uphill for a minute, easing off, and repeating a few times. That combination, a base of easy cardio plus a little high-intensity work each week, is the most reliable way to raise VO2 max. And when you train this way, you are not just nudging a number on a chart. You are physically rebuilding the machinery that the number represents, and the benefits ripple everywhere. In a sense, you are not just training for a number, you are training for everything. Aerobic training makes your heart pump more blood per beat, grows new tiny blood vessels, and multiplies the mitochondria in your muscles. Those same adaptations lower blood pressure, steady blood sugar, lift mood, and sharpen the brain, all from one kind of effort. This is why a single habit, training your aerobic system, pays off across so many areas of health at once. A stronger aerobic engine also means more energy for everyday life, not just better numbers on a test. Your heart literally remodels, growing a larger, stronger chamber that pushes more blood with every beat. So raising your VO2 max is really shorthand for making your entire body more resilient, which is exactly why it predicts so much. So how do you actually find out where you stand? You have options, from precise laboratory testing to simple checks you can do on your own. Knowing roughly where you stand is the first real step to moving it upward. Your number is only useful if you actually go and find it. The gold standard is a lab test. You exercise to exhaustion wearing a mask that measures the oxygen you breathe in and out. But many smartwatches now estimate VO2 max from your heart rate and pace, and simple field tests can give a rough read too. Whatever method you use, the real value is in retesting over time and watching the direction of travel. Even a basic check, how winded you get climbing a few flights of stairs, tells you something real. What matters most is not perfect precision, it is knowing your rough number and watching whether it is trending up or down. The honest summary: VO2 max is the size of your aerobic engine, and it predicts lifespan better than almost any single number, even smoking. And the levers are real. Build an easy aerobic base, add a little high-intensity work, and know that the biggest win is getting off the bottom. And that brings us right back to where we started, the single number that outpredicts almost everything else your doctor measures. Your VO2 max is the size of your engine, a quiet summary of how well your heart, your lungs, your blood, and your muscles all work together. Yes, it falls with age. Yes, part of it is in your genes. But here is the part worth holding on to. This is one of the most trainable numbers in all of human health. And the person with the most to gain is the one who feels the least fit today. Every brisk walk, every easy ride, every short burst of harder effort is you literally rebuilding the engine that carries you through life. So do not think of cardio as a chore. Think of it as adding capacity, adding resilience, and quite possibly adding years. If this helped you understand your body in a new way, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Vital 10 for more health. By the numbers, a bigger engine is a longer life, waiting to be built. Start where you are, and start now.